Have you ever witnessed a mugging at work? I don't mean an actual physical crime. I mean some poor, well-intended worker pipes up with a suggestion, a question, or even dares to call attention to a blatant mistake, and proceeds to get their head chopped off. This isn't the type of environment where excellence thrives, and this sort of culture hurts both productivity and loyalty. Companies know this, so enter some training on psychological safety. But like a pendulum, sometimes we are fixing for one thing, then we swing too far in the opposite direction. In today's episode of No More Illusions, we take a deeper look at psychological safety and how it means more than just a workplace where nobody ever says or does anything that might upset someone else. Welcome to No More Illusions. I'm your host, Joe Kwon, the Connection Counselor. In the late 1960s, a chemist was tasked with creating a super strong adhesive. Instead, the glue he created barely stuck to anything. On the surface, this was a total failure and probably best to move on, right? But he noticed how cleanly and easily you could remove it, so he kept talking it up and got nowhere. Eventually, another employee connected that failed adhesive to a small everyday problem: bookmarks falling out of a hymnal. And with some clever marketing moves, a hit product was born. In 2024, the global market value for this product segment was around $2.4 billion with a B. The breakthrough didn't come easily or without discomfort. It came from someone being willing to keep sharing an awkward, potentially embarrassing result, who kept his job and, I imagine, was eventually handsomely rewarded. If you haven't guessed by now, the company was 3M, and the product is one of my favorite office products that I use almost every day: the Post-it note. I'm going to be honest here. I'm a creature of comfort. I love comfortable things like blankets, slippers, and sweatshirts. And I'm also generally pretty conflict avoidant. I want to, but I might or might not tell you about the spinach in your teeth. When it comes to working together on a team, it's important for you to be able to do and say necessary things, even if that might make you or the other person uncomfortable, and to move through that discomfort to keep working together as a team. In many organizations, there is a value to being nice, which can be focused on no tension, no disagreement, no hard feedback, no raised voices, everyone feeling included and validated. But that's not psychological safety. That's conflict avoidance. That's pretending. And ironically, conflict avoidance often destroys real safety because people start walking around on eggshells and important truths might never get said. And that's not good for the team, and it's terrible for your mental health, intellectual honesty, and high performance. But we all know brutal honesty isn't the answer either. If not considered carefully, psychological safety comes with a real dilemma. We don't want a situation where people who feel safe enough to be real and express themselves do so in a way that makes others feel less safe to express themselves. But we also don't want an environment where nobody says anything real for fear of creating this sort of fear in others. So, how do we find the balance between acting freely and psychological safety? Psychological safety is the belief that you can speak honestly, ask questions, admit mistakes, or disagree without being punished, humiliated, or excluded. It doesn't mean comfort or agreement or being nice. When psychological safety exists, people feel able to speak up early about problems, challenge assumptions, share incomplete ideas, admit uncertainty, and give honest feedback. This leads to better decisions, fewer hidden mistakes, more learning, more innovation, and more professional and personal improvement. You can have high accountability and high psychological safety at the same time. High psychological safety enhances high accountability. When more people are speaking truth to power, the right things get noticed and addressed. But high accountability doesn't always lead to high psychological safety. If accountability is delivered in a punitive, brutal way, it encourages people to hide mistakes, shift blame, and engage in wishful thinking, rather than facing reality. So, how do you find the right balance so people are saying and doing what needs to be done, but not in a way that makes it less likely that they will say and do what needs to be done in the future? Psychological safety is fundamentally about predictability of respect. That's predictability of respect. People relax when they can reliably predict their status will be protected, they won't be unfairly punished, they will be seen and heard. You may notice something about all of these. They're not about clarity. They're about connection. Connection that drives us to protect someone's status even when they say something we don't like. Connection that makes us more likely to be fair when someone brings up a mistake they made so a bigger problem can be avoided. And connection that ensures that no matter the person's level or status, they are seen and heard as a valued team member. When you operate on the basis of connection and consistency no matter what, you'll find the right level of psychological safety without jeopardizing freedom and real communication. Psychological safety, meaning everyone feels comfortable, is an illusion. The reality is that psychological safety requires people to be comfortable to speak the truth and be able to do so with connection and consistency that maintains the willingness of others to do the same. And when people feel this way, problems can be surfaced and solved before they get too big to handle, cause other problems, or explode. And people can operate more freely without fear, improving morale and high performance. If this resonated, you can join the Connection Counselor newsletter at connectioncounselor.com, where I share reflections and practical ideas on work, people, and personal growth. If you discovered an illusion that changed your life for the better or could help others, I'd love to hear about it. Email me at joe@connectioncounselor.com. Thanks for listening to No More Illusions. I'm Joe Kwon, the Connection Counselor. Take care, and remember, clarity reveals, illusion steals.